here we go. shkodder versus Onord. A pretty important match. Onord now with a win and a tie. If he wins in this series, easily first place. But if he loses here, still not quite safe through. And shkodder, if he wins here, after the tie against Gonzo, would be in a pretty good spot as well. But a draw with only 2 points would be a different story. So let's see how this goes. shkodder versus Onord. Onord lost on this map versus a really good start against Dark Neutron earlier. So let's see if shkodder maybe can do something similar here on the left side in blue, as he is bringing in a pretty interesting division. Nordland coming around here. Division that we have seen shkodder on quite a couple of times. Whilst Onord is bringing in a division that has gotten somewhat of a resurrection. Hasn't been in the meta for 3 years, basically. Back in 2019, it has seen a bit of play. Since then, it had fallen off quite heavily. But here we are again, as Onord is bringing in second guards tank core. And before we go in, quick shout out to Match Arena, guys, where you guys can support the tournament without having to pay anything even. You can raise the prize pool. You can use the sponsor quests here on the side and add money to the prize pool completely for free, which still gets then in the end paid out in real money to the players, and they will receive some nice prize money next to just only next to the honor of being a league champion. So yeah, giving a bit more incentive to participate to them and rewarding them for the amazing games they play for our entertainment here. Also, if you want to figure out more stuff about the league, check out playsdl.com, where you can find all the information about the league, and also sign up for future tournaments. For example, Friday Night Wano, which is happening next Friday, is up at the moment. Currently no Steel Division tournaments up for sign up, but that should change relatively soon as well. That said, let's jump in, as we have SD2 guns here on the side, Automachiki, Ognmachiki, Guided AP. And yeah, let's go. Nordland versus second guards tank core. Here we go. How aggressive is the setup? Relatively defensive here on the side of shkodder. Onord way more aggressive. Brings out a couple of OBs, Ognmachikis. No snipers on either side. Puma coming up here, trying to get maybe a couple of snipes. BF-109. Yeah, shkodder always with a recon airplane. BF-109, really nice, fast airplane. A bit expensive for a recon airplane though. But still a fine one. Even King, thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great time. As we have a Panther D rolling in from the get-go. That's just hot action. The Panther D is the weird thing here that will put Onord under pressure in the center, as it can aim down the road here, can flank if Onord wants to push down here, and it also puts on pressure a bit on the town and also on this area over here, but has to be careful already. SD2 gun can deal with it, though it has a good amount of reconnaissance in front of it. Puma and the IG-18s, and the SD2 gun goes pretty deep here, gets already spotted, already under fire by the IG and the Puma, and it will most likely struggle to deal any damage back here. Might be able to get maybe one shot on to the Puma, but needs to get a kill there. Doesn't do so. So Onord under pressure once more here. SD2 gun does fall. Yak-9T with a 37mm does try to get a couple of runs in. The Puma in the south did fall. Infantry here for shkodder. Way fewer than for Onord. So Onord should be able to put up some pressure down here in the south. T-34-85 coming around from the side as well. It's a 1943 model, so only has 1 DT and only has 1750 meter range. Not quite a matchup for the Panther, but against other tanks like Stux it can do pretty well. And these Panzer Grenadiers don't have any anti-tanks, so they can't do anything about it. Pack 40s coming around, MG42s trying to at least hold this hill, as a PE2 bomber roams in here. Great 600 kilogram bombs for a pretty cheap price of only 100 points. So the infantry over here has to retreat. shkodder under pressure in the south. OB-25s helping out against the MG42s over here, dealing good damage, but the center is collapsing for Onord. The SIS-2 gun got overwhelmed. Panther D now trying to help out on the south. Will open up against the SG-42. Bit of AA coming around here for shkodder. Has to be careful though, as if the T-34 is pushed through this forest, this might be in trouble as well. Panzer Grenadiers pushed back, and really explosive start here in game number 1. Yak-9T still in the air. Doesn't find a good target to run on top of though. And the 20mm with 2-star veterancy should be able to force it back eventually. P2 will fall back as well. Whilst the SG-43s got pushed back here a bit. OB-25 still moving forward. T-30-45, yeah, that's what I feared for the AA pieces down here. Is now pushing up, trying to get the kill there. As the IG-18 is coming around. Flak 38 already under fire. Pak 40 not in a position to interfere here. So the AA has to be really, really careful. This Flak 38 already kind of dead. This Flak half-track maybe could be saved with some nice maneuvering around. Keeping it out of line of sight. And then, yeah, being careful. Getting it out in the opportune moment. But just holding it on the lower end of this ridge. T-34 moving forward, but Pak 40 soon to be around here to at least shoot from the side. Meanwhile, Puma goes really, really deep here. And already gets a snipe onto some reinforcement units. So the Puma doing a good job there. Panzer Grenadiers holding the line as well. Flak 38 under fire. OB-25 sitting around here. T-34 under fire as well. So Puma is scary. SIS-2 unloading on the other side for Onord. Not falling for it this time around. Guardia coming around. Good hold on the center for shkodder. But yeah, T-34 under fire by Pak 40. Onord has to be careful. IG falls to the OB-25s though. T-34 goes down. Flux still both alive. Even the Flak 38 survived with 1 hit point. Pretty fortunate there for shkodder. Yes, it still fires as well as a full hit point AA piece. So if you put it up here, it still can do its job just fine. Just have to keep it out of harm's way now. T-30-45 beating up some Panzer Grenadiers over here, but the next Panther already around. 2 Panther Ds in A phase here. We have 1-star veterancy for shkodder. So that is quite interesting. T-34 gets the Flak 38 in the end. Yes, Panther D and Panzer Grenadier will try to mount some defenses here for shkodder. The Panther D in the center, pivoting a bit south, getting some good shots onto the SG-43s and the OB-25s over here. MG-42 under fire. As the OB-25 is starting to fall here as well. Ooh, T-30-45 under fire by the Panther D. Panther D trying to get some hits in. Panzer Grenadiers moving in. SG-43 firing onto the MG-42. SPW-231 getting a nice kill here. Whilst the Panther D is sitting in the rear. Black 41 versus Guardia DP here. Interesting fight. BF-109 gets pushed back. 25mm AA, some of the most cost-efficient AA in the game, especially if you get them this highly wetted. 2-star veterancy baseline, 3-star veterancy thanks to the Camaraderie T-34. So this hill is a good fortress here for Onord. Cracking this will not be easy for shkodder, but shkodder's position in the center still pretty scary. In the north, Onord got the flag, but doesn't mount any bigger offensives as his units are all relatively short range and more defensive there in their capabilities. Another T-34 comes up. This time it's in 1944 model with 2-star veterancy, so pretty capable tank as well. Can deal damage to the Panthers, but obviously in 1v1 situation it kind of relies on flankings. And the Puma is a scary beast here in the forest. Gets spotted though, so we'll have to disengage. We'll have to get the hell out of there. We'll have to be really, really careful as the T-30-45 is pushing forward towards it. Puma gets spotted here and might be dead. Doesn't get hit, but can't penetrate the T-34 here frontally. As it's trying to disengage, but it doesn't really have much room to run. The place it is the only place around it where it's hidden from the T-34. Could maybe get a nice shot onto the Guardia also, try to kill that off. But P2 bomber not hitting the Panther. Good micro there from shkodder, not getting hit. Flak 41 now coming up. The 20mm flak truck got killed as well. 2 Panthers besieging the south now. Flak 41 coming in. Pack 40 moving in as well. And the center hill still being held. But it's a 13-11 for Onord. Really interesting game here. So far, absolutely entertaining. shkodder always with some interesting approaches for his league games. As this Took 4 is firing onto the south. Got ADP under fire. Took 4 and Panther getting some nice hits in there as ISU 152 rolling in. T-34 AV5 moves up as well. Whilst we have a good amount of Automachikis in the north. Ogni Machiki chilling around there as well. 13-11 for Onord. IG-18 slowly rolling up from the rear. As this is a bit of a stalemate. Nothing major happening right now, but both sides with pretty scary compositions. ISU really strong against the Dukes. Can do well against the Panthers as well. With its super big damage. If it penetrates, it one-shots every tank. And it has a decent chance of penetration against the Panther Ds. It just has the issue of accuracy and rate of fire. So the Panthers, if they 2 versus 1, the ISU easily kill it. But in a 1v1 situation, Panthers always have to be careful against the ISU. Whilst the SD2 gun comes around as well. ISU a pretty good unit against them. And in general, a unit that now that it got a bit cheaper is one of the more cost-efficient units for sure on the battlefield. P2 coming around over here. Panzer Grenadiers on the bombing, on the receiving end of some bombing here. P2 will for sure get out. Flak 41 on its own won't be able to do much damage there. Maybe with a nice hit it might be able to keep the P2 out for a while, but without veterancy, Flak 41 really inaccurate and low rate of fire, so chances are it won't get a hit in there. Meanwhile, Rajvetka find the Puma, finally get rid of that nuisance, as Onord is trying to get an assault onto the hill. SD2 gun maybe a bit premature here, as the Pioneers are in this forest. SD2 gun here might go down. Would be a good kill for shkodder. Flak 41s hitting the Yak-9T. One of them got a nice hit in, and the Yak-9T not as survivable as a P2, so took good damage there. If the Flak 41s get another one hit in, it might get the kill, but no. Not without the veterancy. Chances of getting 2 hits in there relatively low. Guardia is now engaging onto the Pioneers. SD2 gun will survive for now. Another T-34-85 coming around over here. So it's 2 of them and an ISU versus 2 Panthers on the other side. And a Took 4. Interesting matchup. Took 4 can deal with T-34-85s as well on a bit closer range. He has good rate of fire with 7 versus only 6 on the T-34-85s, so has a bit of an advantage there. Whilst Panzer Grenadiers come around to get onto the hill over here. 13-11 for Onord. shkodder has to get some more flags. Northern situation, still a big stalemate, but that might change now. Onord investing there, whilst on the other side, nothing is coming in here for shkodder. 4 Guardias and a 37mm AA piece. Good numbers there for the player in red for sure. Good numerical advantage that could be pressed. AR 234. This is one of the reasons why you play this division. The jet bomber is in, but the 225mm actually dealing a good amount of damage there. AR has to be careful against the 3-star veterancy. Will get out alive it seems, but took a good amount of damage here. Bomb did hit pretty nicely though. With its 1000 kilogram bombs, the AR can do some damage as it is getting out of the battlefield here. Other side, its counterpart coming in once more. P2 with 100 kilogram bombs flying in here, targeting the Pack 40, and the Pack 40 most likely will be toast here. Flak 41's not able to stop this thing from dropping its bombs, and as I said, also highly unlikely that they will get the kill. Pack 40 is going down. The P2 will get the hell out of here now. As down below, Rajvetka's not able to crest on top, but the T-34-85 now has a bit of room for maneuver. Panther D though still around. Panther D in the south, trying to assault the hill. As the ISU is around here though, so it has to be careful. Well, ISU could maybe use the opportunity when the Flak 41 is shooting onto a P2 to pop out, get a shot onto a Flak 41, deal a good amount of damage, roll back. Is not doing that right now though. As that could be a nice way of getting rid of the Flak 41s whilst they're occupied dealing with air targets. Ooh, Panther D versus T-3045 could come up for a head-on here. The thing that tilts this heavily in favor of shkodder though is the Panzerschreck that also could interfere in that fight and get the kill. But Schwedka still on the way up here. Panzer Grenadiers and Panzerschrecks sitting around. Panzerschreck now falling back, I don't know why. Yeah, that Panzerschreck could be the key factor here. T-3045 gets the first shot, gets the penetration. Panzerschreck still falling back. T-3045 will get the first shot in this matchup. Gets the Panther D in the 1v1 scenario. Panther D needed too long to aim up. Panzerschreck still falling back here. Should have stayed in this forest, as now it will have a way longer way of getting on top of this T-3045. Really good kill here for Onord, using the short range advantage. As the T-3045 is not going to go down to an IG-18. Flak 41 helping out from the side here. Another Panther D coming in for shkodder with 2 Severancy this time. So that's the second card of Panther Ds with 2 Severancy in B-phase. That means he has one more of these, as they come with 2 per card on 2 Severancy. So 3 Panthers in general that shkodders could still utilize. 2 on the map, 1 still in reserve. Also on the other side, another ISU hits the battlefield. shkodder has to be careful here. T-34, 85 moving around. Panzerschreck not getting on top of it this time around. Yeah, if it would have stayed in this forest, chances are it would have been able to do so. Luck 38 coming around. Bit of a misplay there from shkodder. That's assist 2 is under fire. IG-33 coming up as well. So good long-range fire support here. But on the other side, an ISU is a pretty good long-range fire support unit as well. As the assist 2 gun most likely will go down here. IG-33 should pop dead. ISU has to be careful. Ooh, gets shot by the Flak 41. Doesn't get penetrated though. And the assist 3 gun is able to disengage as well. And now the ISU is using the fired position to get a bit more range than 2000 meter. The classic fired position in front of your enemy units trick here to deal some damage to the Flak 41. Panther Dido coming around. IG-33 finds the assist 2 gun here, gets the kill. And the Panther D with 2 Severancy after the ISU just fired might be able to retaliate for its brethren here. The IG-33 does fall to the ISU, but ISU still reloading. Panther D struggling to get the turret on target. Does get the penetration against the ISU. And the ISU does miss on the other way around. But will struggle to find the kill there. As the ISU is retreating. SPW pins down the Guardias. Another T-3045 rolling around. Meanwhile in the south, bit of a stalemate on the hill. Panther and ISU sitting around here as well. Panzerschreck is there, but not in a good position to get the snipe. Meanwhile, SG-43 versus MG-42. Interesting fight. SG-43 seems to win though. Or is it killed off last second? No. Schwedenzug, good unit. 2 MG-43s and some SVTs for 25 points. He is a pretty good combined arms. The 2 MG-34s giving it a good amount of firepower. But the big worrying thing for shkodder right now should be the amount of big boy tanks that come around. We have... Ooh! Panzerschreck finally finds the kill there. Okay, we have 1 less T-3045s. Otherwise we would have 3 T-3045s and 3 ISUs. Okay, another one coming in the north. Okay, so it's 3 T-35 and 3 ISUs versus 3 Panthers on the other side. Flak 40 and a couple of Flak 41s. So it's not completely one-sided in the favor of shkodder, Onord, but shkodder will have to get some good engagements here to decimate the heavy tank advantage that Onord now has in numbers. Panther D in the north. Gets a shot in the ISU. ISU didn't see it. Ooh, good snipe there. Okay, that's the engagements we were talking about. Now it's only 3 versus 5. Stoke 3G coming around as well. P2 bombers trying to get some bombs onto this hill. The Sturm Pioneers have to be careful there. Yeah, they might be toast. Flak 41's not being able to deal with the P2 pest here. Good amount of kills, but on the other side, the infantry of Onord just died before it. So Onord still gets the flag up here. shkodder still gets the flag, gets back to a 50-50. AR coming in with a nice bombing run in the north. Off map on the other side though, pretty brutal. But nice kill onto the fighter here as well. Yak 90 falls to the Fokker Wolf and the Flak 38s. Wonder if Onord will be able to advance over this off-map. SPW falls to the last off-map shell landing. Quite unfortunate there. That SPW with its 20mm autocannon, really helpful on dealing and keeping this infantry at bay. Whilst now it's infantry versus infantry. And Onord seems to have way more here. Guardias rolling in numbers. T-34, 85 coming in as well. P2 tries to get a bombing run through. Gets it out last second. Before the 20mm can deal too much damage to it. Flak 41 and Flak 38s here. Getting the weapon jammed, but need another hit to get the kill secured, and that's highly unlikely, but could happen here, no. Flak 41 not able to kill off the P2. Meanwhile, in the north, big engagement. Stuk 3G tries to help out. More 20mm autocannons. A Flak 36 coming in as well. Doesn't want to get bombed there anymore. At least not as easily, as the ISU is rotating around in the south. And there's still a good advantage in tanks here for shkodder. This is quite a clutch games, chat, isn't it? Rajvetka sitting around. Who do you favor at the moment? It's quite hard to tell in my eyes. I would still favor Onord, but shkodder is got some nice kills lately. The ISU, the fighter. The Yak 90 going down, and so on, getting his ARs out all the time so far. Off map in the north. Could still break his back though, as the infantry is moving forward. Half of the infantry of shkodder currently pushed out of town. And most of the rest is in the circle of death here. 2 off map vehicles driving in there as well. More Panzer Grenadiers trying to come in from the rear. But 20mm open up nicely onto the Guardias. Getting some nice in there. Meanwhile, Sturm Pioneers coming in here. Automachiki. Nice use sitting around here as a couple of nice units coming from the rear here to finally get shkodder off of the hill. Onord still on the 1311. Northern situation with the off map might really deteriorate quickly here now for shkodder. Shkodder has to be careful as we are going into C phase, and both sides now, in C phase have little points to play with, as we have Maverick versus Maverick. So what you got is what you have, and shkodder still has all the tools that are necessary to get to victory, but has to get them on target. Whilst Onord is putting the pressure up here, as the Panzer Grenadiers in the north most likely will fall. These Panthers and Stuks have to do a good amount of work. Panther D in the south sitting around. Stuk moving forward. SG-43 under fire. That's Shrek's trying to come around. Not quite finding a target though. As the P2 bombers get continuous value here. Yeah, P2's pretty bloody awful here. SG-43 holding the line. Stuk trying to deal with it. SG-43 pinned down. 14-10 for Onord. Automachiki in the south gets killed off by the Pak-40. Used APCR shell though, so the Automachiki will survive. But only with half strength. Sturm Pioneers moving in here, trying to hold the line, but Onord is keeping the pressure up. 14-10, still going strong. Meanwhile, off-map coming in the north. T-34, 85 coming around. Katyusha moving in as well. As the SPW sits around here in the south. M2A1 under fire. T-34, 85 moving up. Schwedenstrug coming in as well. As the Sturm Pioneers versus Automachiki engagement here is a nice one too. Sturm Pioneers get melted in the end though, as they were already down a bit. Pioneer versus Saperi will be a nice trade, as the Saperis might survive with 1 hit point, or 3 hit points, but the other Pioneers afterwards can clean them up then. 14-10 for Onord still going on. Southern situation here for shkodder, really not a great one. This hill still an issue. Bombing runs on top of it would be amazing. Meanwhile, off map in the north, coming in one last time, being annoying, pinning down a couple of Panzer Grenadiers, as the 1410 still remains. Stuk 3G trying to deal some damage. Hill in the south still pretty well in shkodder's hands, and this is going to be tough. The Arados have to put in a lot of work, and the Panthers have to get a couple of nice kills as well. ISU's currently not doing much. Arado comes in. Big booms landing. This AA piece might be dead, but the Arado under fire by 3 AA pieces here as well. Oh no, the bomb's actually landing completely off target. Arado will get out. P2's on the other side though. They will land on target. That Pioneer there is in trouble. And they won't die to the AA either. AA not strong enough. Panthers and Stuks moving forward. Katyusha coming in the north. Stuk will try to help out holding the line, as the Automachikis unload next to the Flak over here. Ooh, Flak will die to the anti-tank grenade. Yes, Automachiki took a lot of damage there as well, but didn't quite go down. And that's absolutely worthwhile for Onord. 12-12 situation now though, as all the infantry in the Arado didn't get a kill, but it got a lot of stress done, so the units in the south forced to push back, and forced to fall back. We still have 2 ISUs and a T-3045 here though, so doing anything with the Panther will be tough. P2 still coming around, pounding day for day. P2 not getting stopped here by any fighters or so. So they are staying nasty. Automachikis getting in the north. Panzer Grenadiers versus Automachiki here. Going nicely. Panzer Grenadiers getting surrendered. Need to fall back. That's the Panzer Grenadier over here. Hold line against the Saperi. Schwedenzug in the rear. Doing a good job. MG42 doing a nice one. Cis 2 sitting around here. It's the T-34 85s shooting back onto the MG42. Pioneer moving up against the Radvedka. Not quite getting in there. ISU, nice kill onto the MG42. Guardias trying to move in further. P2 being forced to fall back. Guardia going down over here to the Pioneers. Automachiki holding the line, but down to 1 hit point. Nice kill here. Panther D has to be careful, as the ISUs and the T-34 still around. Though the infantry with longer range. Nora Chvetka is also around with a bazooka, which is quite nice for shkodder around here. But he has still a couple of Panzer Schwecks sitting around. T-3045 this time gets first penetrated by the Panther. Ooh, Panther with this somewhat slower reload time now that the loader is wounded. The T-3485 gets the W in the 1v1 again. Unfortunate crit there for shkodder this time, as he had the first shot this time around and he would have the better rate of fire, would have gotten the second shot out quicker if that crit wouldn't have occurred, which reduces his reload time by 50%, I think it is. So pretty unfortunate that shkodder got hit twice with his Panther before he could get the second shot out and finish off Onord's T-3045 here. Really lucky for the player in red here, and that is a problem. That is a massive problem. That Panther D was a really big threat. Now that it's gone, the ISUs and the T-34s can move way more freely. So shkodder is still in a hell of a lot of trouble in the south. North, the Stuk and the Panther D not doing too much. MG42 could maybe push on top of this. Like, there's a bit of an opening here. The issue is that airplanes will come around and bomb you if you push too deeply. As the Pioneers fall to the Automachiki over here. Two Automachikis have a good amount of firepower. Get it finished before it can do anything. Well, the Panzer Grenadiers finally pushed through here. Guardias pushed back. 25mm AA sitting around. MG26 trying to come up. FD rolling forward as well. As the SDKFZs have to fall back. Panzerschreck. Ooh, can it get on top of the T-34-85? Yes, it can. Nice kill there. shkodder might go up to 1311 here. With the flags in the south. But holding these flags will be tough. ISU though, a bit exposed. Panzerschreck still aroused in the nice numbers. Can they connect with some targets here? First target already found in the center. ISU coming around to replace that T-34 there in the center, it seems. But Panzerschreck, ooh, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. ISU has to be careful. Guardias find the Panzerschreck first though, and it's just slightly out of range here. Has to disengage once more. Back to a 12-12 we are. Yes, T-34s are pushing in the north though. And there's no Panzerschreck around here this time around, and the Stuk on its own won't be able to deal with them. Might be winning the 1v1 if it gets to engage in the right angle, as it has better rate of fire, but not the 2 versus 1. P2 bombers also still nasty, getting another Panzerschreck killed over here. ISU tries to move onto the hill. 12-12 situation. As the Flak 41 pushes back the P2. Panther D, the last remaining one, being bought now. 30mm still holding nicely. Ooh, Pack 40 tried to get the kill into the Guardias, not quite succeeding. And Panzerschreck is still in trouble over here, as the Guardias are moving forward. Panzer Grenadier MG26 should engage there. They have better CQC firepower than the enemy here though. They don't engage, as the MG26, unlike normal Panzer Couriers, which are pretty shitty in CQC, the MG26 version actually quite decent, as they can use the MG26s in CQC firepower. Not so great on long ranges though, as the MG26 not the best long range MG. But yeah, losing the Panzerschreck here a bit unnecessary maybe. Could have killed off the Guardias beforehand. Whilst Panzer Grenadier is now dealing nicely with the Saperi. Half track has to be careful. Doesn't want to get too close there, as there's a Panzerfaust on the other side. And yeah, Panzerfaust gets out. Panzerschreck gets out. T-34 drops over here as well. ISU still around, but Panzerschreck doing its job. Is shkodder able to whittle down the enemy's armored units? Only 2 ISUs now remaining. T-34's all gone down in the south. In the north though, still a big threat with the Automachikis and the Guardias. Onord most likely could push for this flags over here. Flak 41 though. Nice and helpful deterrent. Whilst the Katyusha was not able to do super much. Katyushas maybe could be helpful to deal with this. If that would fall, the northern position for shkodder would be in shambles. Panzerschreck goes down over here. Guardias trying to get on top. ISU now can move around again. Got the Panzerschreck around. Guardias though get melted by the 20mm autocannon. Ooh, plane coming in. P2 bomber. Flak 41 out of HE shells. And this game is getting closer than it looked it would be 5 minutes ago. shkodder fighting back nicely. Twisting back and forth. And the 12-12 is in favor of Onord at the moment, but shkodder getting some nice kills here in the center as well. ISU and T-34 around. Stuk might get a kill onto some Guardia DPs here. Unfortunate. Not quite getting the snipe there. As the SDKFZs push in the center. Rashvedka under fire. Guardia DP opening up there as well. Rashvedka will be pinned down. Guardia in the south do drop. P2's not finding a nice connection anywhere. Rashvedka will bite the dust. More Panzer Grenadiers coming up. That's the ISU is under fire here as well. Flak 41 coming in. Firing against the T-34s. T-34 taking the 1v1 there. That's not a good 1v1 for a T-34 to take. Yeah, goes down. Deals an okay amount of damage to the Flak 41, but doesn't get anywhere near killing it. So one of the T-34s in the north down now, and as I said, Stuk potentially could win the fight if it wouldn't get killed off by the Rashvedka there. Nice kill for Onord in return. 13-11 now for Onord again. Is pressuring the center. There's no unit that holds the front line here. For shkodder, that's the problem. The 20mm autocannons do a good job, but they don't hold the front line. Meanwhile, P2 does try to dive around here. Has to be careful though. Flak 41 not having any HE shells left anymore. Otherwise that P2 might have gone down there. Eating up a good amount of stuff. P2 coming around again. Focke-Wulf this time though is on top of it. Gets a good amount of damage in. AA pieces try to finish it off. Focke-Wulf won't be able to do so. Can the AA pieces from the ground do so though? P2 is smoking, but so is the Focke-Wulf. 337mm will drop it. And the P2, oh no, unfortunate for shkodder. 1410 now for Onord here. And the situation is getting somewhat desperate here for the player on the left side in blue. Stoke 3G has to retreat. SDKFZ gets to hit some Guardias here. Saperi have to fall back as well. T-34, 76. Moving around. Panzer Grenadier getting some nice shots in. Saperi getting on top of them though. And the TNT will be able to deal with this situation. They're slightly out of range. Oh, they seem to be slightly out of range. 101 meter engagement or so, which was pretty good for the Panzer Grenadiers as they also were able to use the MGs. But the ISU does end that dispute with a big shell, forcing the Panzer Grenadiers back. 13-11, 33 minutes played. We have 2 Panthers on the battlefield still. They need to get some good value out though, as the PE2s keep on coming. AR on the other side still around as well though, so it's not like shkodder doesn't have any good bombers either. But there's just a couple more PE2s on the other side. But a good AR bombing run in the south right now could still wreak a lot of havoc. Center, maybe not quite the targets right now. Issue is still that there's... The AA pieces all are down to 1 hit point, but they are still all alive, so they will deal a good amount of damage on the other way around. Ooh, Saperi's engaging over here. Panzer Grenadiers in trouble. Panzer Grenadier leader will most likely drop here. Yeah, good kill there for Onord. 13-11, shkodder bringing in another Stuk in the north. T-34-85 still around here, but needs to win the south if he wants to win the game. Needs to get to a 59 here by now, kinda. Panzer Grenadier is moving, and for 59 he kinda needs to win at least these 4 flags here. The 2 flags over here, 2 flags down here. So that won't be easy. As the SDKFZ falls to the T-34, that doesn't make it any easier. And more T-34-85s, still some remaining here on Onord's deck. And the Panthers have already a lot of work for them as is. More Panzer Grenadiers coming in. Another Panzerschreck. Yeah, those Panzerschrecks so far doing a good amount of work. Another one might connect here. shkodder really using those nicely. And Onord a bit careless with his tanks. Loses another T-34 here to one of those. Panther now coming around. No Panzerschreck on the other side for Onord. So, Pioneers now trying to assault the south. T-34 is in the forest. Flak 41 not quite in the spot to deal with it. Is out of HE shells. T-34 Guardias get dropped by the Pioneer. It's a Perry versus Pioneer fight. Pioneers will win eventually, but will take them a while. Whilst the Panzer Grenadier over here can't quite hold the line. Panther D moving around. 13-11, still for Onord. shkodder needs to do something. As we only have 14 minutes remaining here till the 50-minute time limit. That is in the rule sets of this tournament. And whoever has more points on their health point at that state will win the game. And Onord at the moment, way more hit points than shkodder. So shkodder needs to find a solution for that. Guardia DP getting onto the Panther D here. Panther D has to be careful. Guardia DP actually has a slight chance of penetration against the side armor. Panther D is really not made as a breakthrough tank. Their side armor really lackluster. Absolutely more of a tank destroyer. With some capabilities of tanking enemy tank shots frontally, but you never want to get into a situation where the enemy can flank you with these Panther Ds. Like, getting flanked is already bad with a lot of tanks, but with the Panther D, it's especially bad. P2 bombers coming around again. Trying to hit infantry around here. Pretty bit inefficient, as the units would have most likely dealt with it anyways. Panther D gets the win here against the Guardia DP. The other Guardias under heavy fire. More infantry needed a bit to hold the line though. 12-12 is back on the menu. but only 12 minutes remaining. shkodder would need a big breakthrough in the south. And that will be really hard to achieve. Panther D got transmission damaged over here. It's trying to move around. SDKFZ does drop. Panther D versus T-3045. T-3045 got penetrated once here. Gets the recon tank of shkodder killed. 13-11 now for shkodder actually. As a Stuk is trying to flank around in the south. Good amount of tanks here still for Onord, but infantry actually pretty lackluster here. Storm Pioneers most likely will find some stuff in the north. Ooh, Panther D versus T-3045. T-3045 does miss, but so does the Panther D. As the 13-11 isn't enough for shkodder. But if shkodder can make it a 59, this might still be enough. 12 minutes remaining. Onord has a good hit point advantage. Needs to keep it. Every second he could keep it at a 12-12 would be great. Panther D under fire by the PE2. That's obviously pretty scary. Does dodge somewhat nicely. Is relatively heavily stressed out. And will get shot by T-34. Does bounce it off though. Will be able to retaliate. Good micro from Onord. Not allowing the shot here for the Panther D, and a good amount of infantry coming in. Yeah, as I said, he lacked infantry down here. Now with this his 2 guns and the Guardias, will be a hostile environment for the Panther Ds, and will be an annoying environment for the infantry around here as well. Ooh, Panther D not quite getting shot onto the T-34, but now that his 2 gun is around, Panther D will have to retreat further. As this his 2 gun has a pretty decent chance of penetration against it. Ooh, bouncing so far, but won't be able to bounce it forever. And there we go. But gets the kill onto the T-3485 at least in the end. So at least doesn't go down without a fight. But 13-11 still not good enough, and that Panther D in the south was pretty essential for putting up pressure onto this whole situation. No artillery around. I wonder where the airplanes are. I feel like the Arado 234 should have been reloaded. Our little jet bombers. Not around just yet though. So we have a Pak 40 sitting around here. SDKFZ. Chilling on the hill. Panzer Grenadier getting some nice shots out as well. ISU and T-34 though easily dealing with the with the light units over here. Panther D can deal with the T-34 though. T-34 has to be careful there. Panther D aiming up now. T-34 won't do anything against it. ISU trying to come around. Oh! P2 gets the Panzerschreck drop. That Panzerschreck would have been a nice tripwire for the ISU. Does fall though. Guardias at least get pushed back as well by the MG42. But Panzer Grenadiers still fall. Panzerschreck over here. Now maybe should move up a bit. More infantry needed for the center. 13-11 now for Onord again though. And it's only 9 minutes remaining here for shkodder. So it seems like Onord is getting the 1-0 here. As this situation is deteriorating now even further. Like, there's just not enough. There are just not enough units for shkodder to overwhelm Onord with here on the battlefield right now. T-3476 engaging the Panzer Grenadier. Panther D falls in the center now as well. ISU gets the kill there. And that's kind of the nail in the coffin. Those Panther Ds were really essential. Did a decent amount of work. Okay, we have another one actually. We have another one. But it's only 8 minutes. But shkodder is still getting taken down here right now even. Panzerschreck not finding the ISU. That was kind of the hope. If the ISU would have died here in the center, the Panther D could have done a lot of work. That ISU would have died there. Like this flag would have fallen, and this flag, and even this flag maybe might have been under pressure. Plus it could have threatened the reinforcement roads here. So, yeah. That would have been a great situation. Instead, it's kind of the other way around. This ISU right now could wreak havoc. Not quite as much. The Pak 40s and the Stuks deal relatively well with them, but still a bit of a threat. Whilst the 1410 is making, is letting shkodder run out of time here. As even a 59 would start to be too little right now. And an 18-6 is just not happening with the little amount of forces that blue has versus the pretty similar, if not even more, units that Onord has on the other side. And 5 P2 bombers now entering the battlefield. I wonder where the Arados are. Like, why don't we see any of those? Did they really have that long of a reload time? If damaged? I am a bit surprised, not gonna lie. As shkodder is getting ticked down here. And Grenadiers on the fire. Onord in a good spot. 12-12. As shkodder gets the flag up here. But the ISU is still a big problem. No artillery or anything around for it. Like, kind of the Arado as the only option. Okay, Arado tries to drop in the north now. Two Stokes coming around. It has a 1,000 kilogram bomb, but only one Automachiki is going to get killed, and the Arado might even drop to the triple 37mm here. Didn't fly super close to it. Okay, yeah, but won't come around another time. Won't have the time to reload. So as the last... as its last job killing off a single Automachiki there, I'm not sure that's worthwhile. shkodder with a big counterattack now in the north. But... needs a 59, and for that it needs to win everywhere basically by now. Katyusha coming around for the Flak 41, Panther D under fire as well. And only 6 minutes remaining here. shkodder would need to win right now everywhere, but that just doesn't seem to be the case. Onord's continuous 13-11 ticking throughout the game. Seems like it will work out in the end here. T-3045 under fire. Will drop to the Flak 41. Nice kill there. As the Stokes and the Panzer Grenadiers move forward. But there's still enough infantry right here. Guardia's coming in. Guardia coming in to deal with the Panzer Grenadiers over here as well. Katyusha reloading. Panther D trying to get some shots off. Not really doing much damage though. The flag here is in hand of Onord. And Onord even going back to a 13-11 with only 4 minutes... 5 minutes 20 remaining. This is really ticking against shkodder now. Stoke 3G trying to come around. Most likely will get a kill here onto the ISU. ISU still has to rotate. And the Stoke is way quicker with the reload here than the ISU is on the rotate, as it was caught with its pants down there. Stoke 3G gets the kill, so the center hill will fall as well, but only will be a 13-11. Southern hill is still heavily entrenched by shkodder, by Onord. And the northern push is going forward, but really slowly. So the time, the speed that would be needed to get to 18-6 here is not on the map right now. And with that, shkodder, even though he got a 13-11 now, and even though without a time limit he might be able to break Onord here in this game now, it's not gonna happen. And the P2 bombers still are a big question mark. 20mm autocannons coming in the north. T-3045 coming around. One more 20mm autocannons really rolling in here. Has to be careful of the Automachikis though, as they have anti-tank grenades. T-3045, scary opponent in the rear as well. As the Panther D is trying to move forward. ISU is in the bush though. Ooh, does miss. But Panther D is taking a long time to even only aim. Gets the kill on the ISU though, which seemed to have been damaged by some bombs previously. It's his 2-gun, struggling to get the aim on time, but gets the penetration and gets the shooter killed. So that's Panther D, won't advance any further. 13-11, way too slow here on the single tick for shkodder, and even gets pushed off the from time to time. So Onord, with a strong mid game, seems to be able to secure himself here the 1-0, and with that secures himself a place in the playoffs as first place of the group. Pretty important. As the kill set moving around. Will hit the Automachiki here. Well, Panzer Grenadiers move in further. shkodder under pressure. T-3045 coming around on the other side. Panzer Grenadiers dying. As the Panther D in the south engages onto the Saperis and Guardias. Not quite dealing the damage though. Flak 36 under fire. T-34 versus Duke. Stu gets the kill. Yeah, shkodder really fighting tooth and nail here. And as I said, if it would be a ranked game, it would look like shkodder would be on the way to victory here with a 1 hour or something victory most likely. But with the time limit we have in place, it's at 50 minutes, this won't be the case. P2 coming in. Onord playing objective just that bit better. Bombs coming in. P3485 rolling up as well. And shkodder back onto the 1311. Duke not quite getting the kill. SD that on the fire. P2 bombers rolling around. And this time it seems like Onord is able to win on Chetri. After he lost on it versus Dark Neutron, he will be able to win on it this time. And shkodder is in trouble. P2 with a nice bombing run up here in the north. T3045 getting a bombing run in. As more and more T3045s here come to hold the line. Just stay away from the infantry, from the Panzerschrecks. It seems like Onord is out of infantry. Katyusha trying to come around to fire. Meanwhile, the other side, also mostly tanks rolling in now. Mostly Stooks, and the P2s keep on bombing. Keep on dealing damage. And shkodder does surrender here. GGVP to Onord in a really clutch game. Getting the 1-0 up against shkodder. So, well done. See you all in a minute with game number 2. So here we are, game number 2, and it's an interesting matchup on Orsha East. Shkodder on the left side is bringing around the Gebirgsstreif. In the Gebirgsjäger, 5th Gebirgsjäger. A pretty solid division, but not quite as amazing as it once was. Its Gebirgsjägers and Gebirgsstreife got a bit more expensive, so not the complete monsters of cost efficiencies as they were at release. But on the other side, we have a division that still is pretty cost efficient, and especially has all the tools you need in a good 1v1 game. As Onord is bringing around 2nd Infantry, the top level US stack that might still be the best division in game, at least when it comes to being an all-rounder. If you're gonna want to play ranked, highly recommend doing it with this division, as this division is a pretty good fit all around, and it also is a nice first pick in tournaments, as it doesn't have many hard counters, or any hard counters at all, kinda. So it's a pretty strong deck, but let's see if Onord can make it work here, or if shkodder with the 5th can topple him here. Stuk M42s for sure, already a pretty nice vehicle here. Can deal with Sherman M1A1s, M4A1s if they get enough shots out. Or I get close enough with the AP and heat. Penetration chance is not amazing, but they have a great rate of fire. Against M8s, they shouldn't have a problem. In the north, Gebirgsjägers and Gebirgsfusiliers will engage Rangers and Ranger Marauders. So, interesting fight up here in the north as well. And yeah, before we go in, once more, big shout out to Maturino, guys. If you want to support the tournament, this is the place to go, where you can help out funding the tournament, and you can do it with direct contributions, or you can do it via the sponsor quests on the right side, and add money that way. Big thanks to all the 50 guys who helped out claiming all the free codes up here, adding another 12 bucks already. And yeah, let's go. Let's see how this all goes. Let's see how much shkodder can do this time around. Was a close game number 1. Will be a close game number 2 as well. As we have CR42s. Yeah, shkodder always starts with a recon plane if there is one. This time it's an old Italian biplane in the service of the Germans as a recon plane here. Coming around nicely. Flying up north. Trying to get some spotting in. Yes, it's now get shot up by some 50 cals, but that's actually nice because that keeps the 50 cal units stationary in the rear. M3 howitzer coming up. Bofors not out. And it uses up 50 cal ammo, so actually a good way of getting rid of this. Yeah, the CR-42 is here as a recon plane and also as a fighter in the Hungarian deck. The Hungarians using this lovely biplane as well. Marauder gets a kill onto the Gebirgsstreife. Nice first blood here. Meanwhile in the north, the Marauders and Rangers get into this bush nicely as well. Gebirgsjägers on the other side, not looking so hot. Might get overwhelmed here as well. Ranger Marauder at least not finding a shot this time with its bazooka, but the Rangers will hold this in lockdown. No flamethrowers on the other side. Gebirgsjägers have a good amount of MP44 40s, but against the flamethrowers they can't win any fights in the forest. Other things are needed there to do that. Meanwhile M8 now up against the M42. Lovely little Italian light tank. Or light tank destroyer. Trying to aim up onto the M8. Not quite getting the kill though. Jaeger MG42. Engaging the M1414 on the other side. MG42 is over here. Win the duel against the M19s. So nice W there for shkodder, but the north is in a bit of a rough situation. Gebirgsfusiliers though, coming around for some nice action. One of the really strong units in this deck. 9-man sniper squadron that also has a decent amount of mid-range firepower thanks to the G43s for 30 points. Really cost efficient. Good sniper rifle as well with the G43 scope. So yeah, Gebirgsfusiliers, dangerous squad. Go against. Rangers around here versus Gebirgsstreife. Will be an interesting fight. Meanwhile, BF-109 coming in here. Okay, that will make this less of an interesting fight, as the Rangers will just be falling back after being hit by a bomb. Gebirgsstreife gets hit. Ooh, TNT, the bomber actually not hitting the right building there. Rangers still not fully pinned down. So actually might become an interesting fight after all, as the CR-42 is keeping its turns down in the south, keeping an eye on everything that is around here. But with the kill of the Ranger Marauders, it's a bit harder to push the enemy here for shkodder. Meanwhile in the north, Gebirgsführers die. The sniper infantry gets killed off, but the M8 has to be careful, as there's now its Stug around as well. IG-18 gets a couple of nice shots out here, as an M1 gun is coming in on the other side. Gebirgsfusiliers though might be able to force it to unload. Yes they do, and then they can pick it off in the open. So Gebirgsfusiliers here, scary. Not getting onto target just yet. No, starting to find the target though, as the Jaeger MGs hold these buildings pretty nicely as well. M1 has to fall back, won't be able to get on top of this M42 here. Well, it's still being shot by the Gebirgsfusiliers, who pop them one by one. And yeah, only one shot away from killing off the M1 gun completely. P38 came around to deal with the CR, now being used as a strafer. Has a good amount of firepower, though it's not amazing. And they won't be able to get the kill, as meanwhile in the same time the Gebirgsstreife got rid of the Rangers over here. Slowly moving forward. Gebirgsstreife's great firepower on the mid-range. For 25 points you get 2 MG42s, so Panzergrenadier firepower already, which is nice on the long range. But if the enemy runs into you, these guys are amazing, as they also then have 5 MP44s, so against any, they're really strong defensive unit. Not so great on the offense though, as they only have 7 hit points to boast, and those are obviously killed off quite quickly, so they have to be a bit careful of that. Yeah, not liking to see them on their own here. Usually you kind of want to have them combined with Gebirgsjägers, or as I said, just as a defensive unit on the flank. Attacking with Gebirgsstreife a bit tougher, whilst Onord is bringing around some radio 107mm mortars. Yes, they got 5 points more expensive, but they are still really strong units. So Gebirgsjägers here pinned down, and it's 13-11 now for Onord here in this matchup. Meanwhile, E-38's flying around. Could come in for the Gebirgsjägers MG here. Not dealing much damage though. Doesn't use its 50 cals, it seems. Only use its 20mm there. Meanwhile, BF-109's in the north. might be quite devastating. And the Geburgs Fusiliers here are scary. If they could connect with the mortars here, that would be great value for shkodder. This mortar has to be careful. The Bofors also could fall to them, as AA pieces take extra stress damage from ground units, so they get pinned down quite quickly. The Geburgs Division is part of the Italian DLC, a tribute to Italy, as they were serving on the Italian peninsula in 1944, or in northern Italy at least. Rifle earlies coming around here. The Geburgs Rifle, as I said, in the defensive position, quite nice. But only 2 men remaining here, so the Rifle earlies should be able to overwhelm them, as the Rifle early firepower not half bad either, with the M1 Garand and the bar. So as you can see, yeah, getting stressed out really quickly here. With the MG42s needing to reload though, that won't continue, and the Rifle earlies will be able to drop the last 2 Geburgs Streife over there. More Geburgs Streife infantry unit coming in there. Gebirgsjäger trying to fight in the north as well. Pretty decent firepower unit as well, with an MG42 and G43s and then an MP40s. Like, pretty decent on all ranges. Nice all-round infantry for sure. Some of the best the Germans have to offer though. Not quite as cost efficient anymore as they once have been. On 20 points, these units were quite insane. On 25 points, not quite the same thing anymore. But the Geburgs Fusiliers did what I expected. Got rid of the Bofors here, and this is really, really scary for Onord. Tries to bring around the Sherman here, but this MG might be in trouble as well. Sniper rifle so far missing twice. Now it gets on target. Mortar trying to get some damage in there as well. Geburgs Fusiliers actually gets pinned down before it can finish off the M1919, but will be able to dodge the Sherman here. And the Geburgs Fusiliers over here, the second one, still pretty scary. Doesn't have anti-tank though, so the Sherman can zone them out, but keeping the Sherman busy, not a half bad job for them either. Even that would be cost efficient, as both of them cost 30 points. Sherman costs 70 points, so keeping them occupied is a nice job. Meanwhile, CR-42 BIS recon plane coming in will have a nice eye on all of these units on the ground. But the Bofors already came in as a replacement, so it will be pushed out quite quickly. Might even be killed off by the AA, but P-38 will make sure that it is killed off, as it's diving deep here. Will get the kill. Has to be careful though. The P-38 is a nice plane and all, but it's not the most sturdiest of planes, and there are 1-star veterans V20mm down there that really wanted that. Let's see if this P-38 actually makes it out alive. It will be close. 20mm not the deadliest of AA pieces. And it seems like P-38 will just ever so slightly make it here. Heavily damaged, but will be getting out alive. Whilst over here, the Gebirgsjäger reinforcements come in. Smoke not really being used by either side. BF-109s once more being used for holding the south here for shkodder. Getting some nice value targets here. As the Gebirgsjägers push forward. Getting rid of some infantry units. BF-109s under fire by the Bofors and the P-38 though. P-38 got a bit of damage onto this BF-109. And it gets dropped in the end here. 50 cults from the ground help out. P-38 here gets heavily damaged by the BF-109 though. Will have to fall back. But the BF-109 won't be staying around to finish the job. Has too much respect of the Bofors and more potential P-38s coming around. So it will retreat out of there as well. 12-12 situation. Both sides having control over all their starting flags here right now again. So a lot of fighting for little ground. World War-esque combat here. But Shermans in the north, in the corner here. Pretty annoying for all these units. Have to be careful of the Gebirgsführer, one of the best leader units in the game. Has radio, so it makes artillery better. Has a radar trait, so it's pretty stealthy. Has a sniper rifle, so it has good damage on the longer ranges. 6 hit points, also decent. Has a bazooka, so it can deal with tanks. And has 3 Berettas, so it's even somewhat capable of dealing with in full-on infantry squad. Like a normal infantry squad will lose against the Gebirgsführers in CQC combat. Like a rifle earlies or so, if they engaged them in CQC combat, or a grenadier, like especially something like a grenadier or a guardia, they will actually lose out against them. even though the Gebirgsführer has way less hit points. But the Berettas and sniper rifles help out a lot there. So, yeah, one of the reasons why this division is still pretty solid. Püppchen, also another reason for that. Great anti-tank gun. Really short range, but it pops enemy tanks and kills them off one shot. Really great damage. And it also has great stealth, so you can hide it nicely as well. And especially in light forest and town fights, the Püppchen is the perfect anti-tank weapon you want. Only a slightly annoying thing is its low accuracy, but thanks to its high rate of fire and its good stealth, that doesn't really matter. Like, it often doesn't even reveal itself when it shoots out a tank. Meanwhile, P-38 comes around here though. 2 450 kilogram bombs could wreak havoc here. Get rid of the Gebirgsführer. Gebirgsstreife pinned down, so Onord could push for a counterattack there. Meanwhile, off-map coming in for the center here for shkodder, who still has a setup here for a bigger push. Now also brought out a lot of really cheap and spammable 75mm artillery pieces that will try to deal with the enemy mortar, which at the same time is trying to deal with some MG42s. Off-map being called in here, 170mm, quite a decent off-map. 3 charges and pretty good damage. Only issue with it sometimes is that it is a bit sporadic in where it hits. And if you are unlucky, it might not pin down everything in the circle, as it doesn't have as many shells as, for example, the 152mm. So RNG can be a bit frustrating sometimes with it. But if it hits pretty decently. And as I said, the 3 charges compared to the really big off-maps is also helpful. Meanwhile, big bomber coming in the north, Italian SM-74 Spaviero, coming in with some nice bombing runs here, dealing some solid damage, but the south still is one for Onord here, for now, as only a couple of units are remaining here for shkodder, and shkodder has to be even careful to not lose these 2 flags as well. Like, that's something that can happen quite quickly, and then it can come to a 59, which takes you down pretty heavily. The Gebirgsfusiliers in the rear, though, still heavily annoying for Onord. Still could deal a good amount of damage if they find a nice target. And 2 more Gebirgsfusiliers now coming in the south. Those sniper infantry units, really some of the big trademark units of this division. 2 more in the center. You get quite a couple of them. Meanwhile, BF-109 coming in for the rifle earlies. Not quite able to kill them, but is able to dislodge them, and the Gebirgsstreife will take control over this sector of the map. Off-map coming in now from Onord over here as well to stop the push that shkodder tried to do after his own off-map. So off-map versus off-map it is. Onord will only have 2 charges though, as his one is above 200mm. Loses kills the Stuk here of shkodder with it though, and the 203mm is doing good amount of damage to the Panzerjägers here as well. Meanwhile, on the other side, off-map damage is decent. Stuk M42 with its great rate of fire of 12 rounds per minute, able to overwhelm the unit over here. Off-map kills the Sherman as well, and that's a great situation now for shkodder. The M3 gun and the Sherman gone. Off-map coming in onto the reinforcement road, so for example, even this Rhino, if it gets there, might have to be careful. Engineers trying to get the surrenders here onto the Gebirgsjägers. Might be able to succeed in the south. No! Last second! Oh my god, the Gebirgsjägers so lucky there. Get the last second unpin and get the kill onto the transport. Engineers survive with 1 hit point, but will be pushed out here quickly. Really good run here for shkodder. And this might be disaster here for Onord. Off-map coming in, but this is off-map that won't hit much, as most likely shkodder will just move past this. Ooh, nice snipe of the rifle earlies onto the Gebirgsjägers there. Not fully killing them, but this off-map here won't hit as many units as needed, as the off-map of shkodder on the other side wipes out even more rifle earlies. Okay, Onord realizes that, cancels the off-map, calls it in a bit more defensively, But this still might not be enough, as the whole front line here of Onord is collapsing in the center. The North is one, maybe a bit overeager here though, loses his Sherman here as the Stuk 3G comes around. Onord not microing as well, as both sides were heavily focused on the center, but did suicide a good amount of units here. Might even allow shkodder to come back in here now. Big mistake there from Onord, as the center of map is coming in now, but Gebirgsjägers are partially in front of it. Not as many blue units as shkodder would like here, so Onord has a chance of coming back here, as there's a big investment into extra units. Gebirgsjägers coming in from the other side, down in the south. shkodder could pull the trigger as well here, most likely. M3 Howitzer is the big unit for Onord here. If that gets some nice shots, it can hold the push here, but if shkodder is careful, that might not be able to get the line of sight it needs, and then these Gebirgsfusiliers and Gebirgsjägers, if they move through here, easily could capture this flag, could pressure this flag, and then maybe even get into a position where the snipers can overwhelm the M3 Howitzer as well. So shkodder on the offense everywhere. Rhino, though, nice tank, good against the Stuk. Stuk can't penetrate it, whilst the Rhino easily can penetrate the M42, the small little Italian tank. M42 bites the dust. Gebirgsjägers coming in from the rear. Panzerschreck moving in as well. And yeah, Marauders holding the line nicely here. Also, big thanks there, Reef, for the 11-month subscription. Ooh, closing in on the year. Closing in on the year. P38 going down over here. Will crash down to the south. T34, T30, HMC, trying to deal with the Gebirgsfusiliers. Not quite able to do so just yet. Ranger, LMG, moving forward. Gebirgsfusiliers still in a nuisance here for Onord. Two more coming up here in the north now. And they could kind of deal with everything up here if they get the right engagement ranges. Meanwhile, the southern push is moving on as well. Gebirgsfusiliers get pinned down by the M1919 once more though. And the P38 helped out with some nice strafing as well. 1311 only for Onord right now, for shkodder right now. But the artillery does continue, and he is in a solid position in the center. The Rhino though, great investment. And currently also no Püppchen around or so to deal with it. There is a Panzerschreck potentially over here, but that's quite far away, and there's a good amount of Ranger LMGs between it and the tank. Ranger LMG, 20-point support unit with 2 Browning LMGs. Pretty decent firepower, especially with 2-star veterancy. Though obviously not quite the hit points to sustain long engagements. Can get killed off quite quickly, especially by something like an IG-18. So the Ranger LMG has to be careful over here. Meanwhile, Gebirgsstreife versus Rifle 8. Close fight down in the south. Gebirgsfusiliers will try to help out. Southern push does work out now for shkodder. Overwhelms the infantry. M3 Howitzer now is now engaging. And if that gets the kill onto the Stuk M42, the southern push might be stopped. Question is, does it get the hit here? No, the first shot won't be a hit, and the Stuk M42 with its 12 rounds per minute once more is pushing up a lot of fire here onto the M3. And the M3 with high stress, most likely not able to get another hit in here. Nope. So the Stuk M42 most likely being able to kill this off. Yes, here we go. M42 will get the kill. 2 Stuarts coming around. 2 versus 1, they most likely should be able to secure the kill, though they have way lower rate of fire. As more Gebirgs Pioneers come in, the BF-109 coming in as well. These Stuks, the M42 75mm, a really nice support weapon in the hands of 5th Gebirgsjäger and 4th Fallschirmjäger, and also of the 26th Panzer Division. Really helpful units. But it does die here now. Gets a kill on one of the Sherman Stuarts. But the Gebirgsjägers try to move forward over here. Have to be careful. But the Rangers already pinned down. Okay. Won't be able to get into grenade range. But 1311 still over here. P38, Horseback, BF-109, and Sparviero will survive. As there is one single 20mm that helps out with all that job. LG42 down here. Great weapon as well. Gebirgsjäger and Fallschirmjäger love this, the use of this. 2000 meter range support weapon. That also has a decent heat shell, though that only has 1500 meter range. But especially the 2000 meter range support with 6 rounds per minute with decent damage. Really nice for 50-point units. Gives you the long range firepower that you pretty much need in all of the good decks. 2000 meter range HE, quite necessary. But now German Stuk 3s have arrived together with the AB-41, pushing back the Ranger LMGs over here. Off-map on both sides once more. Second off-map card here for both sides as well. And shkodder is trying to push deeper into the center. Shermans are around. Stuart is around as well. No anti-tank guns though. M1 guns pretty good against Stuks. Not around here right now though. So, the north is a stalemate as well, as the M1 gun popped the Stuk up there, so no long-range fire support for shkodder up there. Whilst the off-map hits both sides heavily in the center. Sherman under heavy fire. Off-map vehicle goes down. I'm pretty sure that's the one, that's the new one. So that's a big loss for shkodder there. Won't be able to call any more in, as the center is getting decimated. Classic Orsha East game, the center, an absolutely moon surface look now with all the craters. Getting hit by a lot of shells here. Whilst we are still only on the 1311 now for shkodder. Southern push though is moving on. CR flying around. P38 coming around for Onord. Trying to get some bombing runs off. Let's see if it will find its target. Okay. Geburgs Fusiliers here are dead. Nice hit there. Engineers though get stopped from moving too far. Stuk gets a penetration against the Sherman. Sherman not able to find the retaliation hit there. And Sherman has to be careful. Hellcats are around now. Those can be dangerous as well. P38 trying to deal with all the infantry around here. As we are back to a 12-12. shkodder had another off-map here. Okay, so it was the old off-map that was forward. Well, Onord gets an off-map here as well. So both sides once more with off-maps in the center. Onord looking pretty weak here though, and we are now in B phase, in C phase. Reinforcements come in only 80 points per minute. So if this all dies here, replacing it won't be possible. But the same thing could happen over here. If all of this dies, the forces of shkodder that are maneuverable would be pretty low as well. Rhino does fall to the Stuk though. That's a big casualty for Onord over here. 59 now for shkodder. This off-map has to do a lot of work. If this off-map doesn't kill the Stuks, Onord is in a lot of trouble. Southern push also working out nicely for shkodder here. Hellcat is not getting the hit. Stuk only needs one penetration. Hellcats are great tank destroyers, but they are really, really weak in receiving damage. They don't have frontal armor. They only have 8 hit points. They are mostly there for shoot and scoot. As with the 81 kmh, 65 kmh still off-road, they are really, really maneuverable, and they have the penetration power to do a lot of damage, but they want to engage on the 2000 meter range against Stuk with the APCR shell before the Stuk can retaliate, as otherwise in the 1v1 situation they need 2 penetrations against the Stuk, whilst the Stuk only needs to hit them once, and that's what happened there. Hellcat got dropped, so needs to be more careful this time around. As the center, the off-map, got one of the Stuks. Second Stuk still surviving. Still a lot of pressure here from shkodder onto Onord, as Onord is only bringing in slow reinforcements here. Can't afford much. Stuk still around here. And is trying to get in range of the Hellcat. Hellcat got the first shot, gets another shot out, gets the crew panic, but gets dropped by the Stuk. Stuk getting the important kills here. 16-8 now for shkodder. Shkodder on a good way to victory here in the second game. And that would be a draw. Ranger LMG with Bergsiger would still mean that Onord will go first in group most likely, but would make the situation here kind of annoying for shkodder, for Onord still. And yeah, Stuart sitting around here, Bergsiger under fire, Ranger LMG getting some nice hits in. And Onord under heavy pressure. 75mm. Trying to hit the rifle 8s down in the south. 105mm Sherman coming around as well. Rifle 8s gets dropped. 59 is on. And this looks like it's going to be it. shkodder will get another map of one of the top layers here. Well done. Rifle 8s on the fire. Another rifle 8 moving up here. Ranger Marauders moving forwards. Bofors coming in. Spaviero Trying to hit the salvage over here. As Gebirgs Pioneers tried to hold the line with the jerry cans. Engineers being pushed back. Bofors hitting up. Baviero will get the bombing run through. P-38 coming in from behind. SM going down, but gets the bombing run through. Engineers pinned down. The Gebirgs Pioneers can move forward with their jerry can bomb. And could really get this whole southern situation under control as well. Meanwhile, next off map, dropping over here for shkodder. Not really necessary, but he's dropping the slow one to just stop reinforcements from arriving so that he can push through. CR will spot the Steward and will spot that there's also next to nothing left to it. Panzerschreck could move forward and just kill that thing. And then the Gebirgsjägers could capture the rest. And it's already a 59 as is, as the southern situation is pretty sketchy here for Onord as is. With the Stuk still alive and him not having any good anti-tank around to deal with it. 105mm Sherman is nice as anti-infantry support. Will at least keep the infantry in here. Stop it from crossing over to this flag. But the center now is under pressure. Gebirgsjägers here will just run over the Steward. As the Steward is the only thing that holds the center. Rifle Lates will try to come in. But they will have to unload over here. Or more so over here. And try to move around. Whilst the Gebirgsjägers have all the time they need now to get into a position. 59 is on. Only 8 minutes remaining here for Onord. And the P-38 tries to get a nice bombing run through. Gets to unload the units, but doesn't get the kill. Slightly off. Otherwise that would have been a nice hit here. Whilst the P-38 is pushed back. Sniper rifles in the north. Not quite getting the kills they want to. As the rifle lates roll up forward. Gebirgsjägers unloading. Engineer engages gets engaged by the IG-18. That's Gebirgsjäger and Fusiliers push onto the rifle late over here. Rifle late gets pushed out. P-38 being pushed back. And the BF-109 is coming in the north. Bofors still around though. Double Bofors even. Will most likely get the kill on the BF-109 even. As this is 2-star veterancy Bofors over here. Yeah, gets the kill. BF-109 drops down. Rifle lates trying to come in. As more engineers will come onto the battlefield. 105mm Sherman. Well engaged onto the Gebirgsjägers. P-38 flying in the south. IG-18 gets the kill onto the M1 gun. 16-8 is around. Let's see. Püppchen coming up. Rifle lates moving up. Gebirgsjäger versus rifle late. Interesting engagement here, but the 16-8 is taking. And the infantry of Onord alone will not be able to win this. Rifle lates are great infantry, but so are Gebirgsjägers, especially if they can get into this here. And yeah, the bars, rifle lates have to defend themselves to all ranges. Gebirgsjägers getting on top of them. Artillery pieces trying to hit the Bofors over here. These artillery pieces not the biggest damage dealers, as you can see. They didn't really kill much this game, but they are a constant annoyance. And for their cheap price of 45 points and also relatively cheap resupply, especially as you also have the Kübel, so you don't need to even buy 40-point supply trucks. You can only go with the Kübel for 20 points and resupply them that way. They are pretty efficient still. Counter push now in the south for Onord, as shkodder is up on the 59. 5 minutes 40 remaining here. Off map coming in once more. Oh no, he still had one more left. Okay, this is quite brutal. This off map might be finishing the game now, as this allows the Gebirgsjägers here most likely to just all these Gebirgsjägers and stuff could just A-click forward now, and Onord couldn't do anything about it. Obviously, shkodder doesn't quite see that the way we do, but yeah, this is just way too much left here. the MG42s and the Gebirgsjägers just A-clicking really would seal the deal of this game. And Onord trying to get something done in the south, but runs into a good amount of opposition there as well. In the center, the LG42 and the Stuk, together with Püppchen still holding a line. Good amount of Gebirgsjägers all everywhere there as well. And even the north is still in danger with the Gebirgsfusiliers around there, so... yeah, it seems like shkodder is getting this map. Gebirgsjäger versus Rifle Late. Onord trying really hard here. But this is going to be it most likely. I don't see a potential of comeback here. Rifle Late's push over. Gebirgsjägers coming up. Versus Rifle Late's once more here on the long range. Rifle Late's favored in that engagement, though the MG42 gives the Gebirgsjäger still a decent amount of firepower in return. The half-tracks can be supportive and so on. The Rhino is nice as well, but there's still Stuks, there's still Püppchens, all of that. And the southern move forward here is not really working out either. Especially now that the Püppchen is around, gets the Sherman, another Stuk pushing forward as well. 59 still on the south now, pretty much completely open. And LG42 made it in here as well, that now will deal with the Bofors. Hellcat trying to come in, but that Hellcat is in trouble against the Stuk once more. Püppchen is around, and Onord does surrender here. So GGVP, shkodder gets game number 2 here. Well played. And yeah, Onord can't lead. Did lead, but did get the important win against Gonzo. So will still make it as first place out of group. So yeah, really nice games here.